was an awkward silence as they stood there, neither of them sure what to say. Finally, Sophie broke the tension by clapping her hands. "All right, everyone, let's get started," she called, waving them over to the altar. Ava was grateful for the distraction. She took her place beside Sophie, trying to focus on the rehearsal, but she could feel Jake's eyes on her. Every time she glanced in his direction, he looked away, as if he'd been caught doing something he shouldn't. After the rehearsal, the wedding party headed to a nearby restaurant for dinner. Ava found herself seated across from Jake, which made it impossible to avoid him. They exchanged polite small talk, but the conversation felt forced, like they were both tiptoeing around the elephant in the room. "So Ava, how's life in the city?" Jake asked, sipping his drink. "It's good," she replied. "Busy. Work keeps me on my toes." "That's great," he said, nodding. "I'm glad you're doing well." "And you? Still traveling the world?" she asked, trying to keep her tone light. "Yeah," he said with a small smile. "It's been an adventure." There was another awkward pause. Ava fiddled with her napkin, unsure of what to say next. Finally, Jake broke the silence. "Ava, he started, but before he could finish, Sophie stood up and tapped her glass with a spoon. "Attention, everyone. It's time for toasts," she announced, grinning. Jake sighed and leaned back in his chair, his unfinished sentence hanging in the air. Ava felt a mix of relief and frustration. What had he been about to say? Later that night, Ava stepped outside for some fresh air. The restaurant had a small garden, lit by string lights and filled with the scent of blooming flowers. She sat on a bench, staring up at the stars, her mind racing. "Mind if I join you?" a familiar voice asked. She turned to see Jake standing there, his hands in his pockets. She nodded, and he sat down beside her. For a moment, they sat in silence, the only sound the rustling of leaves in the breeze. "Ava, I've been wanting to talk to you," Jake said finally, his voice soft. "About what?" she asked, though she already knew the answer. "About us," he said, turning to look at her. "About what happened?" Ava's heart skipped a beat. She wasn't sure if she was ready for this conversation, but she knew it was inevitable. "Jake, it's been 10 years, she said, her voice trembling. "What's there to say?" "A lot," he replied, his eyes searching hers. "I've regretted the way things ended every single day. I should have fought for us. I should have fought for you." Ava felt tears prick at the corners of her eyes. She'd waited so long to hear those words. But now that they were finally spoken, she didn't know how to respond. "Jake, it's not that simple," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "We were young and we made choices. I moved on." "Did you really?" he asked, his gaze intense. "Or did you just bury it all?" Ava looked away, the weight of his question pressing down on her. She had tried to move on, but the memories of their time together lingered like shadows in her heart. "I don't know," she admitted, feeling vulnerable. "I thought I had, but seeing you again, it brings everything back." Jake shifted closer, his expression earnest. "I never stopped thinking about you, Ava. I've missed you every day. I came back hoping we could find a way to talk about it." The air between them crackled with unspoken feelings, and Ava felt a flicker of hope ignite within her. "What do you want from me, Jake?" she asked, her voice steadier now. "I want a chance to explain, to show you that I've changed," he said, his sincerity evident. "I want to know if there's still something between us worth exploring." Ava's heart raced as she processed his words. Could they really go back to what they once had? Or was it too late? "I need time to think," she finally said, her voice firm yet gentle. "This is all so overwhelming." "Take all the time you need," Jake replied, his tone understanding. "I'll be here." As they sat in the quiet of the garden, the stars twinkling above them, Ava felt a mix of fear and excitement. The past was a complicated tapestry of love and loss, but perhaps, just perhaps, there was a chance to weave a new story together. The morning of the wedding dawned bright and clear, the sun casting a warm glow over Willow Creek. Ava stood in front of the mirror in her childhood bedroom, adjusting her hair and makeup. Her heart raced as she thought about the day ahead. It was supposed to be a celebration, but the weight of her conversation with Jake lingered in her mind. "Ava, are you ready?" Her mom called from downstairs. "Almost," Ava replied, taking a deep breath. She needed to focus on Sophie's big day, not her own tangled emotions. But as she slipped into her dress, a soft lavender gown that flowed elegantly, she couldn't shake the feeling that everything was about to change. When she arrived at the chapel, the atmosphere was buzzing with excitement. Flowers adorned every corner, and the scent of fresh blooms filled the air. Ava spotted Sophie, radiant in her wedding dress, surrounded by her bridesmaids. The joy on Sophie's face was infectious, and Ava felt a smile tug at her lips. "Are you ready to get married?" Ava asked, pulling Sophie into a hug. "More than ready. I can't believe this day is finally here," Sophie exclaimed, her eyes sparkling. As the ceremony began, Ava took her place among the guests, her heart pounding. She watched as Sophie and Mark exchanged vows, their love palpable in the air. It was beautiful, and for a moment, Ava allowed herself to get lost in the magic of the moment. But as the ceremony progressed, her thoughts drifted back to Jake. He was seated a few rows back, looking handsome in a tailored suit, his eyes fixed on Sophie. Ava couldn't help but steal glances at him, her heart fluttering each time their eyes met. After the ceremony, the reception was held in a nearby garden, filled with twinkling lights and laughter. Ava mingled with old friends, but her mind kept wandering back to Jake. She needed to talk to him again, to figure out what they were doing. As the evening wore on, Ava found herself standing by the edge of the garden, watching the festivities. The sound of laughter and music surrounded her, but she felt a sense of isolation. Just then, she felt a presence beside her. "Hey," Jake said softly, leaning against the railing next to her. "Hey," Ava replied, her heart racing. "Great wedding, huh?" "Yeah, it really is," he said, glancing out at the dancing guests. "Sophie looks incredible." "She does," Ava agreed, her gaze drifting back to the dance floor. "I'm so happy for her." There was a moment of silence, and Ava could feel the tension building between them. She turned to Jake, her heart pounding. "Can we talk?" "Of course," he said, his expression serious. "Where do you want to go?" "Let's find somewhere quieter," she suggested, leading him away from the crowd and toward a secluded corner of the garden, where the lights twinkled like stars above them. Once they were alone, Ava took a deep breath, trying to gather her thoughts. "Jake, I've been thinking a lot about what you said the other night." "Me too," he replied, his eyes searching hers. "I meant every word. I know we have a lot to work through, but I want to try." Ava felt a rush of emotions, hope, fear, and uncertainty. It's been so long. I've built a life without you, and I don't know if I can just jump back into things." "I get that," Jake said, his voice steady. "But I've changed, Ava. I'm not the same person I was back then. I've learned a lot about myself, about what I want. And what I want is to be with you." Ava's heart raced at his words, but doubt crept in. What if we just end up hurting each other again? What if we can't make it work? Jake stepped closer, his gaze intense. "I can't promise it will be easy, but I can promise that I'll fight for us this time. I won't let you go without a fight." Ava felt tears prick at her eyes. She wanted to believe him, to believe that they could find their way back to each other. But the fear of getting hurt again loomed large. I need time, Jake. I need to figure out what I want. Take all the time you need, he said softly. I'll be here waiting. Just know that I'm not going anywhere. As they stood there, the world around them faded away. Ava felt a flicker of hope ignite within her, but she also felt the weight of uncertainty. Could they really navigate the complexities of their past and build a future together? The sound of laughter and music drifted from the reception, reminding her of the celebration happening just a few steps away. We should probably get back, she said reluctantly, glancing toward the festivities. Yeah, we should, Jake agreed, but he didn't move. Instead, he reached out and gently took her hand, sending a jolt of electricity through her. Just remember, I'm here for you. No matter what,